I was sitting in a Chamber of Commerce meeting, and like we're, in a high-rise building with these glass windows, and one of the guys goes, "There's one of your trucks driving down," and sure enough, like down on the interstate that we were overlooking, one of the Wirks trucks was going by, and it was just very noticeable, right? It stood out.
Hey movers, welcome back to Smart Talk, where we help you go from truck to CEO by working smarter, not harder. Today we're talking about brand and not just logos and truck wraps, but like the real stuff behind a brand that wins trust, sells for you, get your crews to wear those shirts with pride. I'm here with Allison Endicott, CEO of Wirks Moving and Storage, who just won Best of Branding in our 2025 Movers Awards. The full award show airs December 11th, but today we're going to go behind the scenes of what makes a winning brand. So let's dive in. Hey, Allison, congratulations first on the win. But let's go back to the beginning, right? Like, what pushed you to invest in brand as a business strategy?
Absolutely. Yeah, thank you for the congratulations. So we had been thinking about rebranding for a period of time. We had had a consultant come in, and part of the conversation was kind of like, yeah, the red, white, and blue thing is kind of overdone. We had a very classic look, right? The Atlanta skyline with the American flag in the background. It worked for us for a lot of years, but it kind of became white noise as more and more businesses, in the Atlanta area kind of come in and they embrace that color look. So we made the decision to rebrand after we went to one of the Titan retreats. And Kick Charge was on stage, and just, we saw that there was a return on the investment, and we wanted to stand out.
I love that. It's like, what did you guys learn through that experience that defined brand for you?
So when we started, it was absolutely a visual thing, 100%. And I think that that's a very easy place to start. We were fortunate to work with an incredibly talented company called ID8, and they started from like the culture and values perspective. Like they started from the brand personality. One of the things that they do in this exercise is that if your brand were a celebrity, who would it be? Are we like Ryan Reynolds, or are we Tom Hanks? Like what do you want to be perceived as? And all of that went into conversations with them before they ever came to us with colors or a logo or a look.
That's great. I love how you dug into what a celebrity is. It started in movies and in books, literature. They create a concept called a character diamond, and that character diamond guides the entire journey of the storyline around this character. And it's a great exercise to do as a brand. And that sounds very similar to what you guys did, because it hones in on like, what is the hill they would die on, right? What's their fatal flaw? And it gives these like facets of your brand that you don't really think about, but they're there, and it guides how you move forward. And it becomes not cosmetic, right? It becomes about connecting with your audience, right? I think people get hung up that brand is something, it's aesthetics, right? It's a cosmetic thing. And reality, it's really rooted in your values. What do you think are some of the biggest risks that you took along the way as you're thinking about brand?
I remember there being moments of thinking like, this isn't worth it. Like I remember when they first showed us the new Works look, and I was underwhelmed. Because like you start running numbers in your mind and you're like, okay, a truck wrap is going to cost me, 10 grand. Am I really going to rewrap my entire fleet so that I have a slightly different W than I did before? And that felt hugely risky. Like the whole thing felt risky because you're dumping, I mean, for our size and everything, I mean, you're dumping hundreds of thousands of dollars into this endeavor. The cost of the marketing, the cost of the wrap, the new mailers, the new graphics that you're going to need, the new uniforms you're going to need. All of your old uniforms are now, going to the dump. We're still trying to get rid of old brand t-shirts and stuff. That's what felt risky to me, was just the upfront cost. The decisions that we went through it with, the way that we did the process, none of it felt risky because we defined each stage. And like you said, if you look at that diamond, then we knew our values. We knew what we wanted the outcome to be. We knew how we needed to make people feel when they looked at us. And so the rest of it was just like, does this achieve that purpose? It's truly, I think the first leap is what feels the riskiest. is that first check you stroke to the agency that's helping you, because then then you got sunk costs and going back isn't really what you want to do at
Yeah.
that point.
That's the scariest part, I think, of a rebrand, like the dollar signs. It's so easy to get like sticker shock, and it's disruptive, and there's no brand transition that happens overnight. This isn't Disneyland where you just take down the Halloween decorations overnight and poof, it's Christmas. What do you think was the biggest lesson, right? Like if you were talking to somebody today who is about to embark on this, they just got their first quote and they're feeling that way. What's the lesson you would tell them that you learned if you had to go do this all over again?
I would say go all in, be prepared, go with both feet. Don't don't try to piecemeal it together. I think that it's really tempting to like go on Upwork and have one person work on a logo while another one, formats some like copy for you to use on your website, and then you use a different company to do the website design. And I think that that inevitably would create a fragmented outcome. One of the best things that we got from working with an agency was we got a brand guide. They put everything into a nice little neat package that I can hand to whatever vendor that I'm working with, and they will produce something that is aligned with our brand. And that's huge. A big lesson there is don't cheap out on it. One of the decisions I almost made was to like stay with our old colors because I thought that it would be easier because I wouldn't have to replace as many things. Like, I don't know why in my head that made sense. What you have to do is remember that you are creating something that you're going to live on for years. And it's worth the investment. That was lesson number one. If you can do it when you're smaller and you have less trucks, do it then, because the more you have to rewrap, the harder it is to carve out that budget and make it happen. Be aware that your fleet probably isn't going to be wrapped overnight. There's not a wrap company that's going to magically come and wrap 20 trucks in one night. It's going to take time. And then what we ended up doing is hitting like our busy season. So like I still have a truck that's the old brand, and it's like we need to fix that, but be aware of that. And then another lesson learned, yeah, just start with how you want your customer to feel. You're going to get pushback from everybody in your company. There is no doubt about that. When I first did it, like everybody was like, yeah, no, we don't want to. But that's where change management comes into play. And you just have to be very gentle and ensure that everybody's involved in the process. Even if their ideas don't make it through, involve them as much as you can, prepare them for it, get excited, promote it. You're the cheerleader. And even if they hate it on day one, like I guarantee you that they will love it if it's done well. And so our guys, like, we rolled out the teal and they're all like, I don't know. I really liked my red shirt, but I think that, we lean into it. We make sure that they get great uniforms that look good and they can be proud of putting them on in the morning.
I think that's some great advice. Saying that like not everybody's going to like it. I mean, as a marketing professional myself, I've been through that several times. It's so subjective in a lot of cases, and everybody's a marketer at the end of the day. Everybody has an opinion about what you're doing, but I think you really cup it to the heart of what was important. You're talking about your customers first. You're talking about like how Wirks wanted to be seen inside that market and stand out and have those differentiations. But I love that you did it internal, because I think brand is just about the people too inside of it as much as it is the people that you service. For our movers that are listening, and you're thinking like, I need to do this, I have no idea where to start. Like, pause this video, hit like, so we know you want more conversations with brand pros like Allison, and that way we can get more folks in front of you to help take you down that journey. So Allison, I want to switch into the results. That's the exciting part of like, what happened after you launch? What does life look like now after you've launched this brand revamp?
Well, I still feel somewhat like I'm living it day to day. Like I said, we got, a few uniforms that we got to deal with and a few trucks that still have to get done. But we've been in this new phase for quite a long time, long enough to have seen the impacts. So we pulled together some numbers that Eric used when he did a presentation at the Built to Move conference. And the numbers there, I will say everything's a little tricky because we switched CRMs, we brought in a sales manager, we refined some processes all throughout this. So what we're seeing is that, we are gaining traction quickly with customers because we have this high quality content that we didn't have before. Part of our rebrand included video by JL Video. and a photo shoot that was done. So we have all of this amazing photos and videos that we can use to tie our brand together. We have a brand story and a process story that educates customers before they ever get to our sales team. So all of that, and this is where it goes from like hard data to like anecdotally, that made the sales process easier, more seamless. We are probably closing deals that would have otherwise not worked with us. I think that we're getting referrals from folks who would have otherwise not referred us, because you don't want to send somebody to this company that has a cruddy truck and a cruddy looking logo, because first impressions matter. So visually, that's what impacted it. I will say that decisions from a marketing and advertising perspective have never been easier. I don't have to think about it. Like, I have this guide, I have this brand voice, I have this stack of graphics and designs and stuff. And so I don't have to overthink a flyer. Right. And so easier decision making. And then the last thing that I would say about like before and after, we are working with a company that's doing PPC Google with us. And one of the comments that was made was that we are seeing results faster than any other company that he's ever worked with. And he believes that that's strongly tied to our brand and what we've been putting out into the world for the last, 18 months as we've been working on this.
It sounds like all of that has really created a template, a guide that you can move forward with. And that's exactly what a brand is supposed to be. It's not a jigsaw puzzle, right? It's your foundation that you can build everything on. And if it's done right, like the way you're describing, is it speeds everything up. It gives you instant feedback, and it helps you stand out in a very busy market, especially where, a lot of people look the same. But I think the biggest thing in this industry is this is service based, right? I'm letting somebody in my home. I'm trusting someone with my commercial move, right? Like, this is a big deal. And, when you show up and you're polished, you're professional, there's an instant layer of trust because of the way that you look and the way that you present yourself. And what are you hearing from your customers? Like, what's, the customer base, what are they saying? The crew, right? Even the skeptics before, how's the community react?
Well, I think the community feedback has been the strongest. Keep in mind, people only move once every 7 years, and a lot of times they don't even remember the name of their mover, let alone what they looked like or sounded like. So the community feedback has been tremendous. Eric actually has a great story of he's walking through the airport and not one but two people walk up and like comment on the shirt, the Be Move shirt, and express what an amazing brand that is. And that's really like a good feeling, is to be like, we nailed it. Um, so lots of positive feedback there. I was sitting in a Chamber of Commerce meeting, and like we're, in a high-rise building with these glass windows, and one of the guys goes, "There's one of your trucks driving down," and sure enough, like down on the interstate that we were overlooking, one of the Works trucks was going by. And it was just very noticeable, right? It stood out because, there are 100 box trucks for driving on that little piece of interstate. But he looked out, he noticed that, and he connected it with me instantaneously. And that's spot on. I will say that, like, our partners who refer us business, who we've talked to, they are just blown away at the quality and how well it aligns with what we serve our community every day.
The fact that you're getting recognition just walking with the brand on you on a shirt, somebody recognizes you, like, that's it. And it's true. Yeah. I mean, people, you're only moving, once every 7 years, and that's that. And the fact that they remember you or think of you or see you, like, that's such a key component, because the reality is how many people have somebody moving in their life around them. That's a happy referral. It's really become a heartbeat for you guys, and that's exciting. So I know our movers are listening there. There's so many resources that you can get on brand. And if you're looking for some of the guides that our team has put together with movers like Allison, drop a comment into the chat, put the word brand, and we'll follow up with some extra brand resources that can help you get started if you're just walking down this path. We work with a lot of movers that are pretty well established, right? Like, we're talking like, they're not beginning. They're like 5+ trucks. They're trying to build their brands. Where would you tell them to actually start?
So smaller, like I said earlier, is better. You're not as heavily leveraged in the current brand. Um, I would start by taking a look and seeing what your competition looks like and what other businesses in your area look like. Do you blend in or do you stand out? In the moving industry, there is absolutely a strong leaning towards masculinity, but time and time again, it's been shown that the people making the decisions on home services are women. So if you look at your brand and it makes you, it makes you feel like jacked up and ready to go to the gym, it may not be speaking to the decision makers. So take a look at that. And I'm huge on going even farther back than that. Like, do you know who your ideal customer is? I know that we're not the best option for like the super mega fancy houses just because, they'll have like extremely high value items or extremely complex things that maybe we haven't encountered yet. Like we'll take a swing at it, but it's not like exclusively who I'm after. I'm after upper middle class homes. We know that they might have a baby grand piano. We can handle those all day long. We can handle grandfather clocks all day long. Easy peasy. We can impress them. We can make them look good. It's worth the liability that we take on for servicing them. That's my target client. My ideal customer is who I have in my mind when I start designing my brand and I say, does it speak to them? So upper middle class making decisions, does this red, white, and blue flag on a white truck speak to this client? No, they're not going to feel good about spending premium dollars when I roll up in a truck that, you can still see the phantom outline of the previous moving company. So know your ideal customer before you do any of this. Look at your competition. Do you stand out or do you blend in? Look beyond your competition to other home service companies in your area and make a determination on if you're blending in with them. Ask yourself, is my brand clearly showing that I'm a moving company and speaking to my ideal customer? Is it too masculine to where it's perhaps turning off the key decision maker? And once you have the answer to all of those questions, I strongly encourage you to work with an agency. Like I said, we're a scrappy industry. I think every single mover who's probably listening to this is hesitant to open up their wallet to like another consultant or another third-party service. But this is what they do, right? Like you want a customer to hire you as a mover over, the bellhop guy who's doing it as a side hustle. You should hire somebody who specializes in branding to do your brand. They've done it more than you have. They've got more reps. They're going to do it better. They're going to do it faster, and you're going to have a better end result.
I think this is excellent advice. Like, I would tell our movers listening, go back to where I asked that question and listen to this again. Your ideal customer profile, you'll hear marketers throw this out. ICP is the acronym that we use. Knowing your ideal customer profile is absolutely the key step. If you're trying to service everybody, you're lukewarm in your market. You're serving lukewarm tea. So I always tell people, I'm like, know who you're serving to and bring them the warmest cup of tea first. And you can always expand from there once you've got it. But one flavor is okay. Start there, get really, really good at it. Now, there's a lot of mistakes you can make in branding. I think the number one mistake is not thinking about it. And, clearly Allison and her team have put the effort in. They think about it constantly. Like it's a part of your lifeblood now. One last final question. What's something a mover could do just this week that would improve their brand? Just one tiny thing that you'd say, hey, go try this right now.
Go get a paid Canva subscription and use the brand function within it to upload any content or graphics that you have, and then challenge yourself to only use what's in that brand folder on your next social media design or flyer, or if you're going to redesign a mailer for USA Home Listings, do it with just consistent inputs and produce 5 pieces of copy that are consistent outputs with your brand.
That's excellent advice. We love Canva here as well. It's a great tool. It's very easy to get started. And also Canva has some great templates. Like you don't have to use them, but they're really great for inspiration, looking at what you could create out there.
Yeah, what's cool
So
that you can use the template and then cycle through if you've programmed in your brand colors. That makes it super fast. Like we live in a time where yeah, agencies are amazing, but you can do so much like on your own. Like you don't have to have a professional social media person to have a consistent and beautiful brand on social.
exactly. And you guys have a beautiful social media brand.
Yeah, and shout out to my executive assistant on that because she's the one who does the social media stuff. And, like I said, I'm not using a professional agency. She does a great job and, it doesn't cost a fortune because, all I can tell her like is just follow the brand, and it's easy.
Yep. Allison, I know you're really busy, CEO running the company. I want to just tell you, thank you so much for sitting down with us and having this chat, helping our movers grow. Movers that are listening, hey, if this got you fired up, hit subscribe. Smart Talk brings more stories from movers like Allison, people who go big on brand and get even bigger results. So don't miss our Best of Movers Awards show. It's going to be streaming December 11th. You're going to see Allison accept her award and hear from more movers that are just absolutely crushing it in customer service, in reviews, and in innovation. I'll see you all next time on Smart
Awesome.
Talk.